Hello everyone and welcome to this video where I will be introducing myself, going over some ground rules of how I run the Virtual D&D Weekends for Baldman Games on the Yawning Portal platform, and some of my aims and goals so that we do not have to go over them during our sessions or previous to our sessions. I will also give a very brief safety tools introduction, what you can expect and what not to expect, and what is expected of all of you. So, I am Drago Russo, as you can see on the webs, and during the Baldman Games, you find me on the Yawning Portal and in the Discord for Baldman Games as Chance Russo. So, that is me. Not going to get into my background. That's not really relevant. I've been dungeon mastering for a little while, I guess now, and I do all of the conventions that I can, Origins, Gary Con, and FinCon, or Baldman Games each year, and going to start doing the virtual D&D weekends. Going to try to focus on unique content such as this one, you Dreams of the Red Wizards, and I hope that you enjoy your games with me. So, who am I? As you can see, those are my links. You can find about a little bit about who I am by just following me on Twitter. See everything that I'm putting out there. Also, my YouTube. Could have put my YouTube link on here, but it is Drago Russo, and I have a Twitch. Is Drago Russo. So, my job is to curate your experience, narrate the game, but I like to think of it more as a curator. I will be moving things along, of course, because this is Adventurers League. We have a limited time to go over an incredible amount of information. So we want everyone to be able to have an equal time and an equal share of the fun and no spotlighting to any one individual. Do my best to make sure that we all feel included and have equal amounts of time, best of my ability. Important thing is that we all have fun. You get to know your character a little bit better and have them grow. I have one golden rule, which we'll get into in more detail during my safety rules section of this video. But it is be kind. When I'm at conventions, I place a yellow post-it note on the back of the Dungeon Master screen that says, be kind. We will get back into that in more depth in a moment. How do I handle the Adventurers League modules that have a tremendous amount of content? And as well, they have a lot of special encounters, have a table with 6 players, give everyone equal time and to go through combat and different things. It does take time. So I like to somewhat edit the modules playing, get the most impact and hopefully the most fun. Do want to allow role play. I think in order to build character, good idea to have some role play. I enjoy role play. You'll find when you encounter my NPC. Higher level play means longer combats. So I try to skip any gratuitous combat, any combat that's just something that you would steamroll through. There's no reason to roll the dice. There is waste 20, 30, 40 minutes on something that has very clear outcome. However, having said that, bad decisions where you would think, well, he's give us gratuitous combat, so we're just gonna go not be or take precautions, and we're going to go out and do things that we shouldn't. Then you will find yourselves in encounters which will probably cut off time for roleplay and exploration. So this isn't a hey, he's only gonna give us the important combat so we can do what we want. No, it's more of a hey, I'm trying to give you the most impactful content in a brief amount of time. So another thing that you will find is that some of the narrative. Of course, this Adventurers League is forced, means we're on rails. Have some decisions that will be up to you, which can affect the outcome. There are certain sections that you kind of have to go to. And as your conductor for those, I will be ringing the bell or whistle for the train and calling for all aboard. Means we're moving on. Has to be done in order to finish on time and to get the most content that we can. I believe there is a sense of urgency that must be used, and therefore I am implementing timers in certain adventures during certain sections. Timer will be on roll 20. You'll be able to watch it count down. Some things will be narratively weaved in to explain why you're on a timer, and it will once again lead to have more urgency and hopefully make things a little bit more dramatic and exciting while maintaining pacing. So this is something we will be doing. It's something you look for on some of the pages that we will be in during sections of the game in roll 20. Another thing is the use of maps and dynamic lighting. It's a luxury that takes up chunks of time. For the main or very, very important, yes, we'll say the important exploration that could combat, we will be using maps. I will ask that we go through them in orderly fashion, waiting on my, I guess, cue when you should go, and we will do them in turns. There's no people going out of turn or running around the map. We'll keep a control on it so that we can move along and everyone feel part of the exploration, tactical combat maneuvers. If there is just exploration, we will use theater of the mind. You get a much better image sometimes of what you are seeing by listening to a very good description instead of just pointing and clicking on the map. Want this to be as an immersive experience as possible. I think a good narration of theater of the mind will lend to that much better than just having maps for. Having said that, when a map comes out, there's a potential encounter coming, just so that you know. You'll be able to feel that impending doom coming when I say, and we're on this new map now. I once again want to say we will allow everyone a chance to interact in a scene in equal parts or a section of the story where possible. Don't want anyone to feel like they were left out or not getting their chance to interact and or explore on their own. When exploring, I will ask each person what they would like to do. You get to an area, I will give you options that you use. You your own options. We will go in turn. Each person will get a small chunk of time in order to react or search, interrogate, interact with other players and or NPCs. We will handle it in turn basis, and it will be semi-timed. That way, everyone gets an equal amount. They can give some to another player if necessary, or definitely want to keep moving, and we want everyone to have an opportunity to interact in each scene. So I believe in narrative play. So if you have a creative or interesting idea and use one of the abilities in an innovative way, I will say, all right, we can roll with this. Certainly try, and we'll come up with a DC on the fly, and you will see if it works. I like to award inspiration to really creative ideas or innovative or inspiring acts that players may do, and sometimes if they make me laugh. However, in higher tier play, as in tier 2 and 3 and 4, don't give out very much inspiration, as the players are inspired enough on their own with tons of abilities and that all patents in front of you. In other words, the players, creatures that I run, the good guy. I like to also point out that you can use this narrative play during combat. But I would hope that you are ready when it is your turn so that you can keep combat is moving along as fast as possible. There will be a use of D&D Beyond for your character sheets and the extension of Beyond 20 so that you can just click on the character sheet. However, on some of the maps and some of the adventures, I will be using the token actions script in Roll20, which also helps move things along by just clicking on your token and having all their actions if your token and your characters properly. 20 creatures that, and some of the adventures that are, will help me to make combat go faster on my side. So that is kind of how we're going to be running things. We're going to be looking to chop it up into sections or parts of each adventure. We're going to time these and make sure that we're on pace, and we will have it somehow weaved into the story of why it's timed, as these missions or adventures are kind of in a haste fashion, so to speak. You need to act as things are happening while you are being complacent, potentially. So, short rests, long rests, seriously thought about and discouraged unless it's absolutely possible. Some short rests, of course, find time for. Long rests could be difficult in some of these. So, watch your resources. So, anything that you would need to know further, of course, you can direct message me on Discord or leave a message in the chats on the Discord server for the D&D Virtual Weekends. Now on to safety tools. I will be using RPG safety tools in all of the games on Roll20, which you will be able to click on and throw out a red card if you have some content or something happens that makes you feel uncomfortable. Throw out the red card and we will move along. Privately tell me what the issue is or not. Not matter. You throw out a red card, things stop. We will move. Don't think this is going to happen, but you never know, and you have the opportunity. We will be using those, or they're at your perusal if needed. I don't use heavy profanity in games unless it's really warranted and the group is using profanity and everyone at the table, when I say everyone, I mean unanimously, no one has an issue with the use of some profanity, then it can be used. If there are people who have issues with profanity, please let me know in the chat or right before we play. Absolutely not use any profanity at all, and would ask that others not as well. I want everyone to feel comfortable, and profanity is not absolutely necessary to play. Having said that, if everyone doesn't mind some profanity, there are occasions where it fits the narrative, and so some of the PCs might use some small profanity. No super vulgar profanity is ever really warranted. I will not. I would ask any of the hard profanity, anything said in a hard fashion. So, I also don't narrate anything of a sexual nature or content, really. Does not mean that adult themes cannot be raised between players and NPCs, like minor seduction for narrative purposes, type of way related to the story, or something someone is trying to get. These particular stories, I cannot imagine what that would be, but It's always, I guess, slightly possible. However, no sexual acts or narrations will ever occur at a table of mine on the D&D weekends or anywhere else. Doesn't exist for me. This isn't Harlequin romance, but we can have people say sly things, maybe, but only in character and where it's adds to the story, which I'm not sure will happen here, but just wanted to make it clear. Nothing vulgar or explicit or unnecessary, please, at the table. And that way we can just all feel a little more comfortable. Flirtation, of course, would be allowed if it's the narrative. These would be friendly things and nothing that would be considered vulgar. I do not use excessive narration of violence or gore. I could narrate capitating action or something brutal, but without getting into over the top, too descriptive of certain scenes. These are the things that could potentially cause an X card to come out. I avoid them just for doing it. I would ask to a degree everyone do the same. If you have a question about it, just think this be something you'd want your child, if you have a child, or would ever have a child, or a little sibling, or anything a minor you would feel uncomfortable saying or hearing with them present. Your mother or grandmother, something to that effect. Um, I think that this can get violent, of course, but the story doesn't need in depth, detailed narration of violence. Lastly, the golden rule, once again, is be kind. And I think that kind of fits everything. So when you are speaking with your fellow players, your comrades at the table, please be kind. If you want to say something that you think might be considered kind, don't say it. I will be very sure that I will not be unkind to anyone. My dice, hopefully, will be on occasion, but generally speaking, my dice are unkind to me. I think that that includes everything. Simple. Be kind. Um, no kind of discrimination in regards to anything will be allowed. We also don't discuss during the narrating or during gameplay anything that's politics, anything outside the context of the adventure. If we keep things mainly in character, we'll be okay. Easy, easy. So, my final words are if you have any questions or comments, once again, you can find me Twitter, on Discord with a personal message, or on the Discord server for Baldman Games in our table slot. And if you want it to be public, you can mention any comments or questions there. I hope that everyone takes the time to get to know each other on the Discord and look for other tables and meet other people with Baldman Games during this weekend. There are a ton of games being offered that cover a number of adventures and stories from past and present. It's very exciting. All of these dungeon masters are very, very experienced and pros. Very. So that's all I have to say. I look forward to seeing everyone at the table. Hopefully, you watch this video and you don't have that many questions, and we can get right into you introducing yourselves to each other and then the characters, and we roll right into the story. Hope that you guys have a great time with me this weekend. Wish you well at the table, except with your rolls. Good night.